All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry I started a little late, but I like getting involved, talking to people, and I don't know when to shut up. So if I need to shut up, just tell me, just signal, wrap it up, the whole Oscar thing. Wrap it up. Okay, today we're going to be doing Living Your Best Life with Parkinson's Disease. My name is Joseph Nacera. I am a physical therapist, LSVT certified, of course. And like I was just telling one of your members here, I've been working with the population for 10 years. It's been my primary treatment for the past 10 years, more or less. And the last 3, I've been in more administrative and have been cherry picking my patients, but I like to keep my grandfathered in patients that we have this great relationship and rapport. And I like to do that. For me, it's important. It's why I got into the practice. I didn't get into this to get rich. I got into this to help people. And I just have the special passion for working with patients with Parkinson's. So today, our objectives are going to be understanding Parkinson's disease, which obviously most of you all do, but just for completion, we'll have one little slide on that. Motor and non-motor symptom management, exercise, nutrition and hydration, therapies, and support systems and resources. And my wife is a dietitian, and I had her write the nutrition slide for me. You got to use your resources, right? This is what we're going to talk about this today. So, sorry. Go back one. So Parkinson's disease, right? So this is the map of the body, and just for completion, we'll just talk about the symptoms. The motor skill symptoms are bradykinesia. As we know, that's the decreased, the mask-like face, the degrading kind of motor skills that we get. The vocal symptoms, rigidity and postural instability, tremors, walking or gait difficulties, and dystonia, which is that twisting from repetitive motion, that twisting that your body will have. Non-motor symptoms, non-motor skill symptoms, mental behavioral issues, sense of smell, sweating and melanoma, gastrointestinal issues, and pain, including depression, anxiety, fatigue, which I think post-COVID the entire country is diagnosed with at this point. So, managing motor symptoms. Obviously, the first thing is we stick to our medication schedule, right? Know our on and off periods, know when to kind of advocate for ourselves with the doctors. And like my friend over there with the new medication, what was it called again? I just was talking about this with one of my peers. Ambrosia, right. We were just talking about this in a support group I run over at Town Square University, the first Tuesday of the month. Anybody here is welcome to attend that. It's 3 o'clock, the first Tuesday of the month. And it's an awesome group, and we definitely love to talk about things like this, the latest things and the greatest things that can help people, and share it. Everything I know, I wouldn't say everything, but 75% of what I know about Parkinson's is from my patients and working with them. And that includes the passion, the motivation, the desire, which drives me to be better at what I am. So I love that synergy that I do have with my patients. Establish a daily routine. Keep your medications, meal times, and sleep cycles on track. Sounds easy. You take a 4-hour nap, you're done for the night, right? You're not sleeping well. You wake up the next day feeling like garbage. Your medication's off and things are not working right. Sounds simple, but it isn't always the easiest thing to do. Life gets in the way, right? We do well when we're disciplined with things, with medications, with exercise, regimented intensity, but things get in the way. I just had the shingles. It just got in the way. I was supposed to be here a month ago, right? I'm here today. So things get in the way. Any stress to the body, your UTI infections, travel, could be potential to worsen your symptoms. Get regular exercise. See people like me, right? You guys, I see the equipment you have here. I see the classes you have. You have all the tools, the resources. Just got to use them, right? Sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes you need somebody to kick you in the butt, which I don't mind doing. Sometimes you got to kick yourself in the butt. If you got good quads, I could do it to myself. But we all need that, right? That's super important. My wife, the dietitian, is also a personal trainer and actually a professional body sculptor. So if it weren't for her, I wouldn't look like this. My 4 food groups when I met her were KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, and Taco Bell. So we all need some people to keep us on track at times. So definitely know the people that do that, right? And the people that don't, stay away from. Like we tell our kids, stay away from the bad people. Bad influence. Maintain a healthy, balanced diet that's high in fiber and low in processed foods. Again, easier said than done, but your gut will tell you, right, at the end of the day, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And nobody wants to have those, nobody wants to sit on the toilet for 3 hours. So follow your body's signals. Take a break or rest if you feel low energy. Listen to, I always say, listen to your body, whether it's in a therapy session, whether it's just the course of the day. Medication management with your provider. And that's when I say advocate, like my gentleman friend over here, advocate for yourself. Know what's latest, know what's greatest, know what's out there, know what's new, know what's not good, know what side effects are, and what you're gonna maybe perceive to have or not have. Advocate. That's all you can do for yourself and your loved ones. It's super important. And relieving stress. This is one of the things I love about this list here is the last one. You guys do practice yoga, I see. Tai Chi on the list here even. And meditation and mindfulness. How many people here have done meditation, mindfulness, or breathing techniques for relaxation? Have any of you ever heard of the 4-7-8? Oh, good. We're going to learn it today. So we're going to put a tool in your toolbox today. I live with, I don't suffer from, but I live with anxiety and depression. And if I don't take care of and manage my symptoms and myself, which all these things on the list are pertinent to myself as well for that diagnosis, I'm done. It's what we live with. It's not who we are. It's part of who we are. It's not what we suffer from, right? So I always say that. Oh, you suffer from depression. I'm like, no, I don't suffer from it. I live with it, right? I'm suffering from watching the Yankees lose a game. I don't suffer from this. Okay, so we're gonna do the 4-7-8. So I don't need to read that. That's just for if anybody wants a copy of this, I could send it to you. So the 4-7-8 it's the simplest breathing exercise. I know about 40 of them, but to me it's the easiest one because in about 3 minutes, we're lowering our blood pressure, lowering our heart rate, getting into that relaxed state or that parasympathetic state where we're resting and digesting and not fight or flight. So if you are anxious or you can't sleep, you could do this in lying down position on the bed, or you could do it sitting in a chair, which I always say all my exercises should be done with good posture, which everybody has here today except my friend over there who's leaning, and it's okay. But yeah, everything should always be done with intention to posture, okay? So we're gonna put our tongue towards the top of our mouth. We're gonna take a deep exhale, as deep as you can go, all the way out. We're gonna breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 7. And breathe out for 8. Okay, we're going to do it again. Breathe in, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we do 5. Is it 5? We do 4 cycles of that, and that's 1 round. Now, how do you feel after just two breaths? Anybody feel a little bit more relaxed? You try to keep your tongue towards the top of your mouth. Let's do 2 more. Breathe in for 4. Hold. 7. And out for 8. And 1 more. In for 4. Hold for 7. Out for 8. Now that's just 1 round. I feel a little bit more relaxed, but I wasn't in a state of anxiety, so I'm just a little bit more relaxed, and I just ate, so probably in a little bit more relaxed state. But you could do that 3, 4 times. You'll start to feel yourself kind of melt into your chair or your bed a little bit. It's one of my favorite ones because it is one of the quickest ones to do. And it's called the 4-7-8 technique. And whether it's anxiety or stress or just inability to get into that sleeping mode, right? To that comfort sleeping mode, and your brain is going too much and you're thinking about 1,000 things. Way better than counting sheep. It's the 4-7-8. A lot of psychologists use it in therapy sessions. I've been using it for years. I did this before my PT exam. I look like a psychopath sitting at my desk with 50 people around me. Actually, I did something even worse. It was a muscular thing, and you had to make your face like this. And people are like, he's gonna flip out, you know? But it was, it was my tool I went to at the time, and I felt like my anxiety was the only thing that was gonna get away in me passing my boards. So I did it, who cares? I don't care what people think of me, really don't. Just the people I care about. So I hope that works. I hope you like it. Put that tool in your toolbox. I'd love to come back another day, and if we talk to Susan, we could talk about all the different techniques that we do utilize for anxiety. Love that. I love that. That's important to me. It's obviously what I live with and what I have to do. So managing non-motor symptoms, obviously create a regular routine and structure. Again, easier said than done. Structure is great. It's great no matter what age we're in, right? From my son to go to school, to get to bed, to us to get the most out of our day. Go to bed and get up around the same time each day and spend 7 to 8 hours, right, of sleep. This is something I've recently started paying a lot of attention to myself, because we got all these different technologies that monitor us and are like, you didn't sleep 7 hours, or you only slept 4 hours. Like, you're gonna die today. It's like, what the hell? Technology does make us a little anxious at times for those things, but it does make us aware, right? And that's just like poor posture. It's like, oh, I just looked in the mirror and, oh, there we go. So it's that awareness, right? And that's why I love the technology. It does make us aware, like the Alexas. Anybody have an Alexa at home? I love it. It's great. Alexa, put on, play the Beatles. Or nobody has an Alexa in here, right? Or Alexa, set my alarm for 8 a.m. Or put my patients 8 a.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. meds. I get to the house and I see the 4 p.m. meds. Buddy, time for your 4 p.m. meds. And I know Buddy's 4 p.m. meds are blood pressure. And if his thing didn't alert me, I would have been like, Buddy, you need to call the cardiologist because your blood pressure is 70/30. You're not. I can't say don't take them, but he's going to tell you to not take them. So call him. So I love those things for people like us. That it really is helpful. Fatigue, right? Very common. Pace yourself, obviously. Oh, don't nap for more than an hour. Who can nap less for an hour when they nap? I don't think I've ever napped for less than an hour, right? You can't control it. That's where alarms come in handy, or honey, wake me up in an hour because I don't want to sleep longer than an hour. Like my wife, she could do it, or have the dog jump on my crotch. That'll work. She's 65 pounds, by the way. She's like Scooby-Doo. So mood problems, cognitive behavioral therapy, actually, which is great for a lot of different symptoms and diagnoses throughout the spectrum of our age. Orthostasis, this is a big one, right? When you stand up, pay attention to that dizziness that we do get. Drink plenty of water to reduce those symptoms. Does anybody ever get dizzy when they first stand up really fast? Oh yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who we are, it happens. For some worse than others, but always pay attention to that. It reduces our falls, right? Just stand up. I always say, let the cobwebs clear, because if you're walking when you're feeling like a little bit off, you're gonna be at your best. So what's the rush? Does anybody have a job that's still working? Nah, screw it. Take your time. Yeah, exactly. What's that? I'm the boss, so I could take my time. Unless the bigger boss tells me not to. For symptoms of drooling, we try something simple as chewing gum. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's worth a shot. Just don't chew too much. You're going to get a TMJ disorder, and then you have another issue. And they actually make gum with caffeine in it now, and they have all different types of stuff. They probably have one with marijuana at this point, a THC. I haven't even seen that, but I'm sure it's out there. Anybody ever try that? THC or the medical marijuana? Yeah, right? It's there. It's definitely, I've had patients that have a lot of success with it. And some of them who just like it because it gets high. No, but all seriousness, it is medically dosed, and it is, my first patient had the little oil thing, and it was just a little click and a swipe. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Right? It's just a little oil dose in the cheek, really gets into the system fast. And they have gummies and all other types of things as well. Always worth investigating into it, even if it's not for you, just to find out if it is or it isn't. Constipation, we're going back to drinking plenty of fluids and making sure you eat plenty of high fiber. Fluids are important. How many glasses per day should we drink? Anybody know at this point? Yeah, you nailed it right there. 64 ounces, 8-ounce glass, right? So it's 8 glasses a day, and that's straight from my wife, Regina. She would tell you the same thing. Drink your damn water. If you don't drink water, what do you get? What is our body made of? 60% is water, right? And we get groggy, we get fog-headed, we get irritable, we get fatigued, and this is just dehydration. Does anybody know what the first symptom of dehydration is? He's drinking his water. What's the first symptom of dehydration? Any guesses? You nailed it. As soon as you're thirsty, you're already in the state of dehydration. So that's why we always want to be proactive, right? That's why they say drink plenty of fluids. It's once you're thirsty, it's like, damn, I'm already, my eyeballs are dry. Your skin, you can see your skin, is dry, especially in the hot Florida weather. I used to live in the desert, even worse, but that's another story. I was 7 years in Arizona. You could dry out real fast. And you dehydrate, you don't even sweat. It just dissipates, right? So you're dehydrated before you know it. And bladder problems. We have some really good pelvic floor therapists. Matter of fact, 2 of them worked with me personally with Fox, with our practice, and they're awesome. And they work with all different diagnoses and ages, male, female, and whatnot. And the pelvic floor physical therapists are worth their weight in gold because they do help with those symptoms of incontinence and urge incontinence and whatnot. Diet and hydration, not dehydration. The Mediterranean diet, everybody's heard a lot about it. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I'm Italian, I know what it is. It's what we eat. So we emphasize fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fish, nuts, olive oil, while limiting red meat, dairy, and processed foods. Personally, I am a plant-based only at this point in my life for 2 years now. Feel amazing. It's not for everybody. Because, again, I have a wife who's a dietitian. I tried it before I met her, now 20 years ago, and I looked like a skeleton because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. When you do these things and you're like, oh, I'm going to be plant-based, you know what your protein is, know the fruits and vegetables and the balanced diet you still need. But the Mediterranean diet is great for that because it does incorporate those things that we need and takes out the red meat, which we don't need a ton of. I know we need it for iron, but we don't. Me? You know what? I gotta double check on that. I'm gonna double check on that and give you that answer. I don't think it is. I don't think it. Yeah, you're limited. I don't think it limits it. I don't think it eradicates it, rather, but it's limited. Correct. But I'll double check how limited. Calcium and vitamin D, low levels of vitamin D has been associated with increased risk of PT. We need it for our bones, PD, excuse me. We need it for healthy bones, though, right? So we definitely need to get that calcium and the vitamin D, and it's why important we get those checkups from the doctors and those labs, and we take the supplements when we're supposed to, and the ones we're not, we stay away from. And the gut microbiome. This growing evidence suggests that the gut may play a role in development and progression of PD. So some studies have suggested that a diet rich in fiber and fermented foods may be beneficial for good gut health, which may in turn be beneficial for PD. I could always forward these studies if anybody's ever really interested in reading them. Like I said, I'll give you my information and you can request them. I love reading about the research and what's out there for the latest and the greatest to help people, just empower people with knowledge myself. So hydrate. Like my friend said back there, 8 cups, 64 ounces of water is what we should be getting per day. Unless we're on a limited hydration because of some kind of kidney disorder, and that's when you would discuss that with your doctor. But for people with normal, healthy kidneys, 64 ounces a day will keep your body moving, right, and keep us in that state of homeostasis where we need to be and maintain. Dehydration can cause constipation, impaired cognition, and fatigue, like we just said. And the first symptom of it is thirst. Yes. I'm thirsty, by the way, so I think I'm dehydrated. It could be because I'm talking a lot. I do that a lot. My kids say, shut the hell up. They're 14 and 22, so I just went way too fast, sorry. Exercise. So exercise has emerged. It's not emerged. We have known this for a while. It's a promising non-pharmacological intervention improving both motor and non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease. What kind of exercises should I do? I think that everybody in this room is probably a specialist at this point. Agreed or disagreed? No? Agree, right? Like you know what works for you. I love introducing newer things to people who've never done it before. I've done rock steady boxing myself with patients, LSVT certified, so I incorporate that. But I think it's important to have a nice balance of things that make you drive and want to do it. Like who wants to go to therapy where you're doing leg kicks and sitting in a chair? You want to do things that are important to you. I have patients that love golf. It's like, all right, let's do it, right? Golf is important. We need to have that rotation. That's really important for Parkinson's. We need to, right, improve our strength, improve our posture, improve our postural muscles. This is huge. I love golf now, right? Because I see how important it is to my patients. So I ask, you want to play golf or you want to try it? My woman patients love boxing. We do so much boxing stuff, rock steady boxing. Anybody ever try rock steady? It's intense, right? It's really intense. Yeah, that's great. I know they do it here. It's awesome. It's super intense. When I first volunteered for it, I was floored how people were kicking my butt. And I was 31 at the time. Now I'm 48, 31 years old. And these people 50 and 60 years old with Parkinson's were kicking my ass. And I'm like, I am so impressed right now. Like, I need to step up my game. But they empower me, you know what I mean? And seeing that and how motivated and hard they drive and work just made me want to be better at what I am. And so yeah, there's things like strength training, balance, agility, multitasking, flexibility and dexterity, yoga like you do here, and meditation is a big one. Just to get into that relaxed state. We all know how to get anxious. Do we know how to get to that other place? You know, so it's important, that whole spectrum of where we need to be. Tai Chi, dance is another one. I love doing dance with patients. I do salsa, Tai Chi, salsa, merengue, bachata. I do a lot of those things because there's a lot of movements that incorporate balance and coordination and recall. So we're doing like 15 different things at once, and all people know is that they're dancing. They don't care about those other things. They just know it's fun. There's music playing, and we're moving. So I love that for people because again, it's exercise in disguise for the most part. But if you love it, you don't care, right? If you hate it, if you go into the gym and you're sitting on a treadmill for an hour, like staring at the wall, I hate the world, you know? But if I'm out on the boardwalk, on the beach, and I'm with my dog, it's a different world. That's exercise still, but to me, that's fun, right? And it's life. Life isn't in a treadmill staring against the wall, so I'm dead set against that. But if it works for you, it works for you. Endurance training myself at this point in my life, I'm big on the recumbent. The New Step is an awesome piece of machinery. Any kind of walking that's low impact for the joints, because we really don't want to destroy our joints. I mean, unless that's your drive. I'm going to talk about my friend Irving. That was his drive. This guy was amazing. Use a pedometer, step counter, and start slow but increase your steps. And that's just challenging yourself. Now we use the watches. I know how many steps. My watch is always, you met your move goal today. It's like, yay. I was sitting in the car. I don't know how I did that. Was I doing this? I don't know. Just yelling at people on the road, damn it, you. I'm doing my exercise. Well, I always say pick an exercise you'll enjoy, find something you enjoy, and stick with it. If that's what you love, like my friend Irving, who I saw in New York for years, he called me up here, you know, the voice, hey, Joe, I need you back here again, damn it. So Irving was yay tall, posture like this, and a tennis pro. He told me everything I know about tennis. I love tennis now, playing myself, and pickleball, matter of fact, because of him. He would play hella high water, winter, fall. As long as it wasn't snowing and he can get outside, he would play. And all our treatment was geared towards that. The LSVT, the Tai Chi, the balance, the boxing, everything was geared towards the rotation, the movement, the balance. Not falling on the tennis court was his life. So we geared every treatment towards that. And I get a phone call, you know, every 2 or 3 months. I'm ready for another round. All right, Irvin, headed your way. You know, let's get that script. I already got the script. Just come get it. Love that. That was important to him. You know what drives you, and make that your passion, right? Continue. There's no reason for us to stop doing the things that we love to do. We just got to figure out how to get there and the people that are going to get us there. And for him, it was me. You know, and he drove. So it was him and me. And whoever played against him in tennis, he wasn't hitting against the wall. All right, therapies. That's me. Woohoo! Physical therapy, right? Improve mobility, balance, exercises to improve strength, flexibility, as well as balance and gait training, best devices to use. I always say don't settle. When it comes to therapists in general, any therapist, speech, PT, OT, art, pet, whatever the case may be, know the people that work for you. Like, you can make a choice and say, I don't want you to come back, right? That just not a good fit. Nothing. And I personally, I would never take that personally. If I'm not going to be the best person for my patient, I don't want to be there for them, right? And if they think that and I can't convince them otherwise, I'm not going to change that point of view. And that's fine. That's, everybody has the right to their own feeling, and they know their own body and they know what works for them, right? So I always say don't settle. You're creating your super team. This is a big part of your super team, the Avengers, if you will, or the Justice League from the older people like me. Formulate your super team and get the best of the best for what you need. That goes for occupational therapy, who helps with things such as handwriting, drawing, using utensils, fastening buttons, using the computer, cognitive stuff, and home modifications. Find the best. I know a lot of good therapists, and I could recommend them, but if it doesn't work for you, what's the point? Don't. Speech therapy, you guys know Elise, of course. I work with Elise very closely. She actually just wished me good luck before I came here. She remembered. She's off today. So improve the ability to communicate, right? May include exercises for clarity. Anybody ever try LSVT loud? Anybody here from New York and is loud? Hey, it's yo, Adrian. That's me. I grew up in a house where you had to scream to be heard, so I'm just loud. Sorry. Cognitive therapy, memory and attention therapy, problem solving, organizing thoughts, coping strategies. And speech does have a lot of overlap with that, and that's why Elise is worth her weight in gold for our practice, because her and the other speech therapists on our team are really in tune with that cognitive factor. And I love what they do, because as a therapist, I see my patient, and they're having some issues, maybe following some tasks and multiple tasks and commands. Then they see Elise, and they come back to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're a different person. So I'm like, wow, the value of speech therapy is not just speaking or swallowing. There's so much more to it. And people who've never had that experience, like myself, before I got into therapy, I didn't know. They're incredible. Music, art, pet therapy, anything that you enjoy participating in. Like I was telling you about my Rocksteady group. These people were rock stars. I've learned so much, not only in the capabilities of people that you look at them and you're like, oh, they can't do that. Yeah, never underestimate anybody, first of all, right? But I learned so much about the supports they have and the things they did. And I had one that was in a rock band, one that would do the drumming class at the college, one that would do a karaoke thing because it was what he liked to do, and it was fun, and it helped his speech. Like, I've learned so much about the things and resources out there and things I would never even have thought of. And that's why I learned, like I said, 75% of what I know about Parkinson's is from my patients. And that includes the passion, the desire, the motivation, and the will to just keep kicking butt. Massage therapy, obviously, to relieve soreness and rigidity. Anybody ever have a massage from a massage therapist? No? Anybody? Yeah? They're great. They're great. Obviously, I prefer a female to a male just because the male, sometimes they're too harsh. I had my best friend in PT school was a massage therapist, and we would do a massage for therapy, right? We'd work on each other in the class, and I felt like he was in my bone. I'm like, I never want you to touch me ever again. Your patients must hate you. But no, they loved him. He was great. But the deep, when the deep tissue, woo, wow, you walk out of there like, oh my God, will I feel better soon? This was supposed to be a good thing. I feel like I fell down the stairs. Thank you, Rick. So I always say, know your resources, know your people, and create your super team, right? And like I said, I'll give this to anybody who wants it and send it to you. Those are all hyperlinks for support groups, finding your ambassador. Has anybody ever used these resources before? They're really cool. Like the support group, obviously, you literally just tap that link and you put in where you live, and it shows you where all the support groups in that area are. The same thing with Find an Ambassador, local ambassadors for support. You click it on there, you show them, you put your address in, or your zip code rather, And it tells you where all the local ambassadors are for support. And I'm sure this place would show up because this place is amazing. The Parkinson's Buddy Network through michaeljfox.org. Again, you click on that link, and there's a buddy organization like Big Brother, Big Sister kind of a thing, which they do. And then find your local resources and support near you. Same thing. You click on that link, and it sends you to all these resources. You know, if you're handy with the computer, it's really cool. I love being able to I was going to say advocate, but I can't think of the word. To reach out to these people through these, resources. The local senior center, I mean, Parkinson's place, this place is awesome. There is nothing like this where I lived in Long Island, New York, and we had such a large concentration in patients with Parkinson's, and that's where I started getting involved. I was working with patients, and the neurologist, me and him got a good rapport, and he started referring more and more and more, and he says, Joe, I love the outcomes you're getting with my patients. It's amazing. And let's have lunch. I want to meet you in person. And I met him, we talked, and he basically my whole caseload, and that's where I started specializing it because my caseload became Dr. Jared's people. And we had such a great, back and forth, and I would keep in the loop. And I love keeping all my neurologists and, primary care doctors in the loop when they need to know things. And he loved that. He's like, oh, you send my patients to the hospital. He kid around. He's like, no, seriously, thank you. Like that, and thank you for calling me after because they needed to go. Local churches, religious organizations. Some people, sometimes I'll go into a home and I'll be like, I am not comfortable even leaving here today. Like that's how not safe I felt the situation was, but I wasn't quite to like adult protective services. So I reached out to the local church, and then I found that there was a woman up the block who was looking for some work. So for $10 an hour, this lady now had, instead of the $26 or $32 an hour that a lot of places charge, she had a resource in her home through the church and a friend that she knew from the church. So that was my first experience when I was like, oh wow, the church is a great resource. Of course, family, friends. Anybody belong to social media groups? Nobody? Nobody's on social media? Facebook, right? So Facebook, what's that? Facebook, right? Yeah, I mean, TikTok, and that's not really going to help us. But Facebook has a lot of great groups and organizations and kind of support groups via the social media aspect of things. Matter of fact, one of these hyperlinks, which one is it now? I think it's the caregiver action one, actually. It's actually it's a link to send you to Facebook, and it's a cool support, kind of a support group. And I play with that one a little bit, and I always love to give my spiel and throw my 2 cents in for what they're worth. And honestly, consider me as a resource today. That's my name, that's my number. I'll give you guys my card just so you have it. If you ever have any questions about anything regarding anything we talked about today or anything in general, just consider me a resource. My phone is attached to my hip. The only reason I wouldn't answer it is if I was with a patient or doing something like this, and I'd always call you back. But just consider me a resource, an ally, a friend. I love talking, if you haven't noticed. I could probably talk for hours, but I don't know if you guys want to hear me for hours. I was teaching at school, so I got used to being able to have a lecture that was 3 hours, So I can extend things, but not everybody wants to hear it. And I say, go take a bathroom break, All right, everybody, take 10 and come back. Get your Red Bull because you need it. So that's all I have for you today. Does anybody have any questions? Please.
Where is do you have a location?
That's a great question. So do I have a location? Fox Rehabilitation is now in 36 states. When I started with the practice, we were in 5. That was 8 years ago. We've expanded. We don't have a brick and mortar, so we will come to your home. We will treat you at adult day centers. We are in independent livings, senior livings, assisted livings, memory care communities. So we come to our patients and make it easier on them. We do have a couple of brick and mortars now in my footprint, which runs from Spring Hill to Venice. And we do have places like the adult day centers where people could actually come to, like the Town Square University. We run that like an orthopedic outpatient office. So if you didn't want a therapist to come into your home, you could actually go there and have your treatment in the gym there. And it's actually a really nice big gym. And if you've never been to that place, it is a cool center. But yeah, we come to our patients. 65% of what we do is go to our patients' home. The other 35% is those places I talked about. And, as the footprint of America has just been changing as far as the independent livings and all these different types of sub-SNF, right? The skilled nursing facilities. There's all different avenues that we can go now. It's not just like go from home into a nursing home. The independent livings are amazing. Some of these places I've seen, and I don't know if you visited people or do live in one, they're incredible. So I love going into those and just seeing the latest and greatest in the state of art stuff that people are kind of living in and with, and kind of jealous. Like I used to live in an apartment upstate New York, and it was cool because we had like the movie room, the fitness room, and that's what those places have. They have access to all those things, the computer room and the technology centers and, stuff that we pay money for. They call that like resort living kind of. So that's a great question though. Town Square, there's one on University, right off of University and Tuttle. And the other one is on Central Sarasota Parkway down south. So the closest one to here is, I guess, the one in, yeah, it's a day center. Yeah, adult day center.
But if you want to play just in the therapy,
You could just come in.
you can come in.
Hmm? Yeah, that's new for our practice. It's something I kind of created. I took this post 3 years ago from New York, and it's something I was passionate about. And I'm like, I would love to have a place for people to come to who don't want us in their home. Not everybody, although I think it's important to see what you live with and kind of the things maybe you struggle with at home. For some people, they like their privacy, and I respect that. And so we do have a couple of those centers in Sarasota, which are cool. They're cool to kind of visit too, because I say like Town Square it's done like a 1950s village. So when you walk in, you're kind of overwhelmed with like a 1957 Thunderbird, and like, whoa, there's a Thunderbird right there. You know that, right? But it's cool. Every storefront is an actual activity center, and then we have a fitness center, and it's a big gym. It's like 30 feet by 20 feet. It's a pretty big size place we have, and we have several therapists that are there, PT, OT, and speech. So it is a cool place, and that we can now do outpatient.
And Medicare picks up the,
Medicare picks up the 80% that typically, and then if you have supplemental, it'll pick up the remaining 20 or whatever. Some people have the Medicare Advantage plans. A lot of nuances to insurances. So I never unless you're TRICARE and Medicare Part B, I never actually say you're 100% covered, because it's like it's the only one I know, right? You serve your country. God bless you or your loved one for doing what you did. You deserve it. And I know that's going to be, as long as it's active, which it always is. AARP Supplemental Plan F is like the gold standard, which I know my parents pay $200 a month for. I'm like, people should know about this, mom and dad. Like, it's the best insurance. Like, it's one of the best supplemental plans, and it covers a lot. You don't have to worry about, along with Medicare. But I always if anybody ever gives me an insurance, like if you after today, you're like, Joe, run my insurance. I want to see it. I send a message to my home office. Just send them your picture of your ID card. And within 20 minutes, they send me back what your financial obligation would or wouldn't be. So it's pretty fast to get a response back, which I love about being with with our model. It is huge. We're 5,000 clinicians. So it's a big group. We're the biggest private practice in the country.